Today I'm showing you 3 different ways to make this halter top, including one made from a vintage towel, which is a fan favorite out there. I'm so excited to finally share this pattern with you. It's taken me over a month of sampling and small tweaks to the pattern to get the fit just right. And along the way, I ended up with a few versions that I didn't expect to love as much as I do. In this video, I'll show you how to make all 3 versions, one with the peplum, one with the fringe, and one using a vintage towel. So you could pick and choose whichever one you want to make. I'll have timestamps below so you could skip to whichever version you are making. If you want to follow along, I'll have the pattern linked below. It's called the Lila Lace-Up Halter. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. I'm just going to go through the 3 different versions I'm going to do and the 3 different fabrications I'm using. For the peplum version, I'm using this vintage cotton piece, and for the facing pieces and all the ties, I'm just going to cut it at itself because I just have a lot of it. Otherwise, I would use like a contrast fabric. And the second version with the fringe, I'm going to be using this vintage bedspread that came with fringe. So I took it apart, it's ready here. And for all the ties, I'm going to be using trim as well, just because I have a roll of it and it's easy to use for this one. And for the binding part for the armhole, I want to try to use the self fabric, but it might be a little bit too thick for that. We'll see when we get there. So I have a backup plan for the binding for the armhole part. And the last version is the towel, and I have a vintage towel ready to go with the fringe at the bottom. And then for all the contrast pieces, I'm just using like a cotton. I suggest using some type of contrast fabric for all the facing pieces, especially because the towel is kind of too thick to double it up. So you want to use something like a contrast to do all those. And I'm also going to cut all the ties and things with this fabric as well. So that's kind of the breakdown of the fabrics, and the cutting's pretty self-explanatory. But for the towel one, the cutting is slightly different. So you want to pay attention to that if you're cutting that version. For the peplum version, don't forget that the front piece is on the fold as well as the front peplum. Make sure to cut all the notches. The width of the bias for the armhole and the back tie are the same, but the necktie is slightly wider at 1.5 inches, so make sure to make note of that when cutting. For the fringe one, I'm cutting the front on a single layer because I want to center the design on the front bodice. I just drew a line where I want my pattern to line up with and cut it out that way. Just make sure you are using an erasable marking pen. For the armhole binding, I decided to go with the contrast since the fabric was a little bit too thick, but left the neck and back facing with self fabric. Since I am using trim for the ties, I skipped the binding for this piece. For some tips to cut the towel version, I went ahead and drew in the seam allowance in the center back, especially if you plan to use the edge of the towel. Since this is added seam allowance, we're not going to use it. So I just drew in the seam allowance at 3/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to fold it back just so I'm not adding extra width to the back. But if you want that extra width, you could just use the pattern as is, but I'm going to fold mine back just so I could utilize the edge of the towel here, and I'll show you how I cut the front and the back. Cut the towel on a single layer since it's thick and it's easier to line up the design on the towel to the center of the bodice. Draw the center line first, then line the pattern to the center line, then line the side seams to the fringe or the edge of the towel. If you want to lengthen the bodice, do so now. I added 1/2 inch to the length. The bottom of the bodice is curved, so there will be a gap at the center front. Make a small mark at the center front bottom so you have a guide when flipping to the other side. If you lengthen your bodice, this gap will be longer. Since I lengthened mine, I'm going to draw a line connecting the side to the bottom meeting the fringe. Cut around half, then flip the pattern to the other side and repeat, matching all the markings and lengthening the same amount if you did. For the back bodice, I folded back the 3/8 inch seam allowance and lined it up with the edge of the towel. Since I lengthened mine, I'm going to match that length and draw a line connecting the side to the fringe. This is going to have a gap as well at the center back. I double check with the front piece to make sure things are lining up and cut. Repeat this to the other side. To double check that length is matching up, I use the cut back piece to use as a guide and then cut. Regardless if you lengthen the top or not, since the bottom is curved and the towel is square, you have to lengthen the back facing piece. Layer cut back bodice to your contrast and lengthen the piece until it hits the end right before the fringe. Use this piece to cut the other side and inner facing pieces. Before we get sewing, make sure to iron on all interfacing pieces to the neck facing and the back facing. If your fabric is thin and want some extra security where the eyelets are, go ahead and interface the back using the back facing pattern and cut any excess off. Now overlock one of the long sides of both back facings and the bottom edge of the neck facing. For the towel version, overlock the side seams of the front and back bodice since we will be pressing these seams open later. To mark darts, draw the center line on the pattern and punch a hole 3/4 of an inch away from the point. This will help keep the darts symmetrical and accurate when sewing. Draw on dart by matching the notches and ending 3/4 of an inch below the marking. Now sew on dart. To finish the dart, chain off about 1 inch and loop onto the meat of the dart and back tack. Press dart towards the bottom. Repeat to the other side. For the towel version, do the same steps, but I like to trim some of the meat off with an overlock since this will help manage the bulk later. Press darts towards bottom. Sew side seams by matching the bottom to the top. There will be a little triangle sticking out at the top, which is normal. Then overlock seam and press towards the back. For the towel version, if you haven't already, overlock these seams first, then sew together and press seams open. Then tuck in overlock tails to the inside and tack these seams open from the right side just underneath the fuzzy part meets the flat part of the towel. This will help keep these bulky seams flat. With right sides together, pin together back facing to center back. Make sure the overlock edge is away from the center. Sew back facing starting at the top and around to the bottom. Clip some of the bulk off at the corners. Iron one side of the armhole binding under 3/8 of an inch towards the wrong side. Now take the armhole binding and make sure it's long enough that it covers the armhole and at least 3/8 inch passed onto the facing. With right sides together, sew at 3/8 of an inch. When near the facing, fold under 3/8 of an inch of the binding so it butts up to the facing but not over it. Cut any excess binding off and sew over the folded edge and stop before the facing. Now flip the facing right sides out. I'm using a ruler to help pop out the corner. Also, I find it helpful to cut some of the bulk at the side seams and some of the meat off the dart to make it easier to bind. Fold binding right side up and edge stitch stopping at the top of the binding. Now flip binding to the wrong side. Sew over facing, making it a continuous line to match the edge stitch over binding. Make sure to cover the seam allowance with the binding while edge stitching. Cut any excess binding off. Repeat to the other side. For the towel version, overlock armholes. Tuck in the overlock tail at the center back for a clean finish. Now take back facing and press under hem at 3/8 of an inch and press under 3/8 of an inch the long side without the overlock. Make sure these pieces are mirrored. Top stitch bottom hem at 1/4 inch. With right sides together, line up back facing to back, leaving about 1/8 of an inch before the edge of the towel at the center back. Now sew top seam only and flip to the inside. Edge stitch facing at the center back by tucking in the seam at the top so it catches under the facing for a clean finish. Continue sewing in place, leaving that 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the towel. A little tip is to disguise the stitch by matching the color of the towel. My bobbin thread is yellow and the top is matching the contrast color. For the other side, I match the position of the facing and edge stitch starting at the bottom to the top, making sure to tuck in that seam allowance at the top of the facing. Now fold over edge of armhole at 3/8 of an inch and top stitch at 1/4 inch, making sure to sew a continuous line over the facing. Repeat to the other side.
If you haven't already, overlock the bottom edge of the neck facing. Iron under the side seams at 3/8 of an inch and top stitch at 1/4 inch. Now pin to front body at the neckline with right sides together, then sew and clip the curves. Flip to the right side and tuck under the triangles at the sides. And tack down to prevent it from rolling out. Then edge stitch facing at the neckline. Flip to the wrong side and pin in place, then top stitch at 7/8 of an inch from the edge. This is about where the overlock is.
So at this point, the neck facing is on and the armholes are finished and the back facing is attached. So before I get to the bottom portion for the peplum version and the fringe version, I'm going to break and get into the ties. So for the neck tie is the thicker one at 1.5, and then the skinnier one, the 1 1/8, is for the back lace-up part. So if yours are in pieces like mine are, I'm gonna go ahead and attach them together before I start to iron. So if yours are in chunks like mine, just go ahead and piece them together before we start to iron. To iron under the ties, take a long sewing needle and pin it to an ironing board, leaving a gap. For the back tie, I make this gap 9/16 of an inch. Then pull the bias through this gap so the edges are folding over towards the center. Now pull through and iron the rest of the bias tape. After edges are folded, fold the tape in half, matching the edges, and iron in place. Repeat this for the necktie, but make the gap 7/8 of an inch, then pull through, folding the edges towards the center and iron. Now iron the necktie in half. Since ironing tends to stretch out the bias, I double check my length and cut. Starting with the necktie, the wider one, fold under one end 3/8 of an inch and carefully tuck all seam allowance so it's not sticking out. Edge stitch starting at the short side, back tacking and going around, pivoting at the corner and continuing the length of the tie. When nearing the end of the tie, carefully tuck under the seam allowance and pivoting at the short end and back tack. For the back tie, the skinnier one, tuck under the seam allowance at 3/8 of an inch. Edge stitch starting on the long side and back tack. Make sure to tuck under the seam allowance so everything is enclosed. Continue down the tie and near the end, tuck under the seam allowance and back tack. To finish off the peplum, take the front and the back peplum right sides together, matching the notches at the side seam, then sew together an overlock edge. Repeat to the other side. To finish the hem, you could do either a 1/4 inch twice turn hem or a baby hem. For a baby hem, fold up 3/8 of an inch and edge stitch. Then trim off close to the stitch line but not through it. Now use this stitch line as a guide to turn up hem again and edge stitch right on top of that stitch line. The hem will be about 3/16 of an inch finished. Repeat these steps to finish the center back hem by turning up 3/8 of an inch, trimming off the excess, then turning the hem again and edge stitching right on top of that stitch line. Now pin the peplum to the bottom edge of the body, matching up the side seams and sandwiching the peplum between the back facing and the back. Stagger seams if they are thick at the side seam and sew. Then overlock the edge. Clip some of the bulk off the corner and flip the facing inside out. To finish the hem, if you're adding fringe, go ahead and sew right sides together, the back facing to back at 3/8 of an inch. Repeat to the other side, then overlock the bottom. Clip some bulk off the corners and flip the facings inside out, then iron up 3/8 of an inch and top stitch at 1/4 inch. Take your fringe trim and measure out the length of the bottom plus 1/2 inch on each side. Finish the ends by doing a 1/4 inch twice turn hem or overlock, then iron under 1/2 inch and top stitch at 3/8 of an inch. Sew trim to bottom using the previous stitch line as a guide. To help distribute trim evenly, you could pin at the side seams and at the end.
All three versions are finished, and I included an eyelet template in the pattern if you want to use it. The longer one, version A, is for the peplum, and then version B is for the fringe. And for the towel one, you can't really use this template because we lengthened the back of the towel so much. So you could use it to get the first one going and then just evenly distribute the other three. And another thing with this template, the notch is the top so you don't flip it upside down. I'm just going to use an awl to kind of poke the center just to get enough space to mark it on my actual top here. And then I'm going to whip out all my eyelet tools to insert all the eyelets. Take template A for the peplum version and poke the holes in the center of the eyelet markings. Then line up the pattern with the notch at the top and the edge of center back. Mark in place. Repeat to the other side. For the fringe version, use template B and poke the center of the markings and mark on the back by lining up the pattern with the notch at the top and the edge of center back. Mark in place. Repeat to the other side. For the towel version, I use template B to mark the first eyelet, then evenly distribute the rest. Make sure the last eyelet is on top of the back facing. Repeat to the other side. Using your eyelet tool, insert all the eyelets. I'm using an industrial press. It's helpful to punch out some of the bulk to make room for the eyelets. Do that first. Then I switch out to my actual eyelet die set and insert all the eyelets. Since I do this for a living, I found it worth investing in this press since you could switch out the dies to other trims as well. The last thing you want to do is insert the necktie. You could use a loop turner, but I find just using a medium-sized safety pin works really well. Just pin to one end and insert and scrunch up a few inches and pull, and repeat this until you thread through. If you use trim for any of your ties, cut these to length. Since I'm using a rope trim that unravels, I use tape to secure the ends. Then cut in the middle of the tape to secure it and thread through. Remove the tape and knot it. But make sure your ties are long enough to go over your hips. Otherwise, it will get annoying to untie the knot every time you want to put on your top. They do sell shoestring end caps if you want a nice way to finish your trim to easily lace and unlace your top. Lace the back up however you like. I like to lace up from the bottom to the top. A little tip when putting on the top is to turn the back part to your stomach and lace that first, then turn it around and tie the neck. For the towel halter, the last thing you want to do is even up the fringe. Take a clear ruler and a small comb to get the fringe nice and straight. Then cut the fringe using a rotary cutter, making it even from the front to the back. The peplum one feels so nice and feminine. Lots of options to customize this too. You could use a contrast for the peplum part, add a little rickrack or trim to the bottom of that. I personally like to add a little shrug or bolero to this, just having the lace up part peek out in the back. The fringe one feels really elegant to me. The options of fringe you could use are endless. You could use a long trim to get that really boho look, or maybe a short and punchy one for those hot sunny days. The towel one is definitely a fan favorite. I suggest finding a vintage towel with the fringe, but if you can't, you could always add a trim later. This one is so comfy, and I personally like the plush vintage towel against my skin. This one is perfect for the beach or a poolside hang. You can make this more cropped or add trim around the neckline to really personalize your top. I hope you guys enjoy making this top. Let me know in the comments below which version you're going to try. If you do make this top, please tag me. I love to see your creations. You can also tag me over on my socials and follow me there for more behind the scenes. Again, the pattern is linked below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps small creators like me get discovered. And until next time, friends, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.